Hey, chicken, that was in my video. What did you think of BizTown?
It was cool.
Well, I'm gonna give a full detailed story.
Hello, and welcome to...
So, BizTown. For those of you who don't know, which I would assume is a large portion of you, since from what I understand, it's just a Midwest thing, although I could be wrong. BizTown is an event run by the company Junior Achievement, which is basically a way to teach kids about what it's like running a job, getting a job, and stuff like that. And they really do go all in. We do job interviews. We learn how to manage a checkbook. We have to pay off a loan. We have taxes. We have breaks. They really do go all in making it as realistic as possible. So, BizTown was announced to us back in January, I believe, with a paper saying that we needed adult volunteers to help us.
Everybody was really excited and eager to find out what it was. So from that day forward, a lot of our lessons in social studies were just about BizTown.
We had a whole booklet of things we needed to complete. There was a lot of preparation for us getting to BizTown. One thing was the job interview. Our teacher passed us out a paper with all the jobs that you can apply for. And we were handed a resume. Our teacher wanted us to choose from 3 different jobs. Basically, since you don't always get your first choice when getting a job. So she wanted us to write down 2 other jobs that we'd be comfortable with. And she said, don't have all 3 jobs be from the same business. Seriously, if you end up doing bad on your interview, then you might not even end up getting your 3 choice. Yoink! And I applied all 3 jobs for the newspaper. The newspaper? Nobody reads the newspaper anymore except for old people. You're right, but I wanted to do something close to like editing or video making and stuff like that, and the newspaper was the closest thing at BizTown. Soon we were getting ready for our job interviews. Our teacher said that we should wear a suit so we can stand out and get a better chance of getting the job. So a lot of people ended up wearing really nice clothes.
So, with our resumes ready, nice clothes, and a funny So, our application ready, some nice clothes, and a funny glove and boot video showed by the teacher later.
So you're going on a job interview. Step 1, delete Facebook.
Done! Now I'm off to become doctor!
We were ready for our interviews.
I went into my job interview, talked to the person we were interviewing, which was actually our teacher's mom, believe it or not, and we were on our merry way.
We came back on Monday, and she had all the jobs posted out in front of her room. So I looked, and I made the newspaper. I actually didn't get my number 1 choice, though. It was actually given to this girl, we'll call her Shu.
I can't believe you would do this.
You took my job from... Nah, it wasn't that bad, though, because I got to be editor of the newspaper.
Even though I didn't get my first choice, it was certainly better than one of my friends who was sick the day of the job interview, so they were just assigned a random job at the Health and Wellness Center, which they have the best name on the planet. I'll show you that later. After several more weeks of new lessons, more preparations, coming up with a name for our newspaper, coming up with ads, slogans, and a bunch of other stuff, it was the day of BizTown. We got on the bus, and we arrived. It looked really cool with all the businesses set up, the bank in particular looking the best. We arrive, and we have a town hall meeting electing our new mayor, who was a 5th grader. We combined 5th and 6th grade together, so a 5th grader was controlling a bunch of 6th graders. I mean, he did seem really nice, though. After our town hall meeting, we set up shop, and we began collecting our first stories. Everything was going pretty smoothly. I was really liking getting to work with the computer. We were getting the stories, and actually, I ended up changing a lot of the original titles to make them more eye-catching in a way. Here are some examples. One of our friends worked both CEO and CFO of one of the businesses, and they originally put Miss Dank Memes works both CEO and CFO, blah, blah, blah. I'm bored. That's not eye-catching enough. So I changed it. Miss Dank Memes works 2 jobs? Miss Erin Kim is the CEO of the Health and Wellness Center. What does it like being the CEO of the Health and Wellness Center? We interviewed the mayor. Interview with the mayor? What does he say?
Soon we started going on our breaks. We each had a name tag, and we got a little sticker attached to our name tag, and there was a flag in the middle of the town, and whichever color flag was risen, that's what color was on break. My color, which was blue, was up first. So the first thing we had to do was go to the bank and open an account so we could actually buy stuff. So we did, and I began shopping. I was really low on money during the first break, so I just bought one of the cheaper things from the sports center, and I actually bought baseball cards for the first time. So on my second break, I went back to another business because there was a bear that you could bid on for some money. So I was basically talking to the person who works there about, giving him my card so he could swipe it and bid on the bear. But midway through that, he noticed my baseball cards and was like, "Are those 80s cards? Because you could probably make some decent money off of those." That's not what I came here for, but thanks, I'll keep that in mind. While that was going on during my second break, chaos was ensuing.
Okay, so what happened was, we had a deadline of 12:30 the newspaper had to be ready by because we needed to print out the newspaper.
I went on my second break, and we were originally told we only needed to write 3 stories. And there was about 10 minutes left, and we had basically everything ready. Everybody was just sort of relaxed back at the newspaper. However, that soon changed. One of the adult volunteers walked in and said, "Hey, stop relaxing. We need to write another story," with 10 minutes left until they needed to start printing. Instant panic! The photographer was freaking out, and it got to the point where the CEO almost had to take pictures, but she was already writing a bunch of stuff as well. Since I was not there, she just went and found a random person and was like, "Hey, you, we're interviewing you." "I don't want to." "Too bad, we're interviewing you."
And from what she's told us, this is how the interview went down. "So, what's the favorite thing about your job?" "Throwing things at people." "She likes working well with others." "Okay." "Do you like your job?" "No, I hate it." "She says she loves her job." "Okay, thank you."
But eventually, we finally finished. A little late, but we still finished. We printed it out, and we gave the newspaper to everybody who pre-ordered it. And this is what the newspaper looked like. I'm not showing you the first page because it includes real names and the newspaper for the city I live in, so I'm not showing that. But if you do want to know where I live, just look on my Twitter. If you want anything more specific, then leave. So remember earlier when I said that I love the name of the Health and Wellness Center? This is why. Hey, don't die! Here's why. We sell a wide variety of jump ropes and tooth timers to keep your teeth nice and shiny. Yeah, so if you're fighting a deadly disease and about to die, don't worry, just buy our jump rope and you will live through that terrible disease.
Boxes R Us. Hopefully they're doing better than another company with the name R Us. Sports shop. See more, be more, blah, 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 blah. But what is this? What is this thing? This is not a water bottle. That does not look like a sweatband. What is this thing? Variety store. Oh, that reminds me. I gotta show you something. So I went to that store and I bought that thing right there, but the problem is it does not fit me at all. Let me show you. Hey, you can't recognize me. Are you serious? Eventually though, BizTown had to come to an end. We got on the bus, and it was the most crowded thing in the world where we had to cram in 3 people to a seat that can barely fit 2 people as is. And I was in the middle, so I was squished in between 2 people, which was really uncomfortable. I was on that bus that whole time, squished and annoyed and sad. But in the end, despite all the panicking, BizTown was still an amazing experience. And I'm sad it's over. Especially now because we have to write like 5 different papers on why we liked BizTown.